I remember when we lived out there, and when we first moved out there, we had to get the house didn't have appliances, so we went to Best Buy, or
Mhm.
maybe it was a Circuit City. One of those two. We maybe we went to both. All I do remember is parking about 100 yards from the actual entrance, and the heat coming off the asphalt. I felt like it was like my it's like a Gita. Like there's somebody's gonna start cutting the lamb off my leg and putting it on a fucking pita. I was like, Jesus, man, it was so fucking. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what have we gotten ourselves into? And then, so the first week goes by, and I go on the road and I come home, and Tamara says, trash goes out on the curb tonight. And we lived in a gated community, so and I just remember taking the heat, and it was like the driveway was, because we had like 3 acres or whatever it was. The driveway was, what was a fucking walk. It
Mm.
was kind of, and I brought in a bunch of dirt, so we had topography. So down was fine, but walking back up to the house, it was like fuck. It was so fucking hot, and I sat down in the TV room.
You brought in some dirt. I have to back you up. I'm not a landscaper. You brought in some dirt for topography.
Right.
What does that mean?
So if you when you like most of the gated communities out there, you can't put anything that's not indigenous. Like there's some, like for us, we were allowed 800 square feet of grass for our dogs. So that was, and that had to be in the back. Your back couldn't be in the front. So what
Mm.
I did was I went around the neighborhood, and we were there was probably 7 or 8 houses that had already been built. And I stood on my lot and I looked, I'm just like, and in the background, uh, is Camelback, and you can almost see through this crack in Camelback because we're elevated where we are. So I said, "Fuck it, man. We'll bring some dirt in, some hooving those big ass uh, dump trucks." And what I did was I built like a pad. So I probably brought in 20 feet taller of dirt, and then I built a retaining wall on the back of the house, and then put the porch there, and then put stairs going down. So as you sat up on the porch, the pool was down, probably 12, 15 feet
Mm.
from the house. And then I ran the retaining wall all the way up on both sides, and then I put a cinder block wall that was 6 feet in between my house and my neighbor's house, and then out about uh, maybe 250, 300 feet, I put a 3 foot cinder block wall, and then put a 4 foot spike one so you could see through it, but the coyotes couldn't get on that piece of property.
Mm.
So, but so in the front we had we bought boulders and everything else. So there was the land. It was just because when you spend it, if you're going to spend cash. Like when I remember when we sold that house, a neurosurgeon bought it, and he asked, as soon as he walked on that piece of property, he asked the realtor, he goes, "Athlete on this?" And she said, "Why?" He goes, "An athlete on this, right?" And he says, "Because the house is so big." He said the doorways are like 9, 10 feet.
Oh,
Like the hallways were like triple wide.
so you could fit through them. Yeah.
But it was like we built like a 6,000 square foot ranch with like 20-foot ceilings, and I really did the math on that when I fucking decided to, you know, run the air conditioning. And people would come. It'd be 105 degrees outside. You'd walk into my house and have that bit set at 70. People would have a stroke. They'd walk in like, oh fuck, what do you have your house at? Like,
Could you
70,
maintain
man.
it? You could maintain it that cool?
Yeah, as long as you want to fucking write that fucking that electric check.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, that's an accomplishment. Like 40, 50 degrees lower, 30 degrees lower. That's an accomplishment.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is out there is they build everything stucco, and we built block. So we had block, and then we really put a lot of insulation in, and we sprayed this. I mean, people build cheap as fuck out there. And they'll build 4 feet of a block, and then above that it's just framing, chicken wire, and stucco. Very minimal. Very minimal.
The facing on the
insulation. They build like shitty houses.
Kevin, it's hot down here. It's hot. It's hot on top of hot. I've been down here when it's hot. It's hot, and the sun is hot, and the humidity is so stifling, and the humidity is hot. The air is hot, and the sun is hot. Everything's goddamn hot. I stayed in the pool for about 4 hours today because I could not deal with not being in it. I would have either been here in the hotel room or in the pool. There was no option. The Disney parks were not being hit today. It's brutal.
I mean, fuck. That's why. I mean, if you live in Minneapolis, you don't say January 19th. Jeez, it's fucking freezing up here. It's fucking freezing. It's freezing. Fuck, it's freezing. I was outside. It was minus fucking 35. It was a wind chill. It's cold.
Something's going on. This is a different kind of hot. Look all over the map. What the hell's going on?
Well, you've got to be fucking. You're on fire. You're getting
I am on fire. That's why I had to sit in the pool.
You get burned up, man. Look at your forehead.
I know. I'm.
You gotta fucking.
Today isn't an error. I told the guys before the show that last week the camera, I thought that the balance was a little off on my color.
No, you look like you're fucking the Human Torch getting ready to flame on over there.
What was his name? Firestorm, the guy whose head was on fire.
The Ghost Rider,
the Heat Miser,
Ghost Rider, one of Nicolas Cage's
Yes, that's
finest.
Right. Across the country, I'm going to give you some statistics now. What the hell's going on across the country? Lafayette, Louisiana, reached 100 degrees or higher on 9 consecutive days, surpassing a previous streak of 7 days in 2000. 100 degrees or higher, 9 consecutive days. Baton Rouge, same thing, 10 straight days. Austin, Texas, 100 degrees or higher on 31 consecutive days. Unbelievable.
You're not even go over fucking go to that fucking go to the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix. Woo!
That's a dry heat. Is there anything to that?
Yeah,
that they say
it's like sticking your head in the oven's a dry heat too. Hair dryer's a dry heat. Put that in your fucking mouth.
Exactly. New Orleans, 100 degrees or higher.
New Orleans, that's a completely different fucking. There's something about maybe it's because it's below sea level. Something with that humidity, man. Like late at night. Oh, if you fucking make the mistake of fucking drinking too early and getting fucked up and being down on Bourbon Street and all those fucking yahoos, and that's one of those deals, man. That once you get your AARP card, stay the fuck off Bourbon Street. That's just it. You're done. You're just going to make yourself miserable.
Probably should stay off Bourbon Street anyway, right?
Whether when you're 50s, a kid, 60s, you know. Yeah. I mean, when you're a kid, I mean, all that shit's fucking fun. You're bulletproof. Right. Now it's just like, I don't want to do anything outside.
You mentioned Phoenix. 116 on Saturday. 114 Sunday.